6.3b. 6.3b. So on Friday, we add and subtract binomial radical expressions. Today, we're going to multiply and divide. Binomial radical expressions. Now, these are going to remind you a lot of what we did when we did complex numbers. Do you remember taking a complex number like 2 plus 3i and multiplying it times 3 minus 4i? Do you remember doing that? Yeah. And what did you have to do here?
Foil.
Foil, exactly. Okay? We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to have radicals now instead of imaginary numbers. Also, I don't know if you remember how to divide complex numbers. Do you remember our trick to dividing these? We multiply by the, do you remember that word? Starts with a C. Oh, no? Okay. No? Do you remember how we had to multiply top and bottom by 3 plus 4i? We just don't know the name. I know, because I just said it wasn't important, huh? It's called the conjugate. Oh, yeah, conjugate. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing, but with radicals instead. Okay? So here we go. 2 parts today, A and B. First part, letter A. We're going to start with everybody's favorite 4-letter F word, foil. Hopefully. Remember I told you to laugh at all the jokes? Yeah. All right, so we're going to foil or distribute depending on the problem. Foil and distribute. Okay, here we go. Number 1. Let's take 5 times rad 2 plus 3. So this is not a foil. Foil is when you have a binomial times a binomial. This is just a monomial times a binomial. And we're going to distribute. So we're going to take that 5. This is super, super easy, hopefully. And you're just going to distribute the 5 to both. So I get 5 rad 2 plus 15. That's it. Can I combine those? Are they like terms? No. That's your answer. You just leave it. Leave it just like that. Okay? All right, let's do the next one. Number 2. Now we're going to have a binomial times a binomial, so we're going to need to foil on this one. So here we go. 3 plus rad 5 times 2 plus rad 5. And we're going to take these 2 binomials, radical expressions, and we're going to multiply them out. So yes, we got a foil. We foil a lot, huh? Let's foil it out. Are you ready? Here we go. 3 times 2 is 6. Outside. Outside is 3 times rad 5. What's 3 times rad 5?
3 rad 5.
Yeah, right? It's just 3 rad 5. Inside is rad 5 times 2, which would be 2 rad 5. And then my last term is rad 5 times rad 5. What's that equal to?
5.
It is. It's just 5, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. Once you have that, let's go ahead and combine our like terms. So I've got a 6 and a 5. That makes 11. And then I have 3 rad 5s plus 2 rad 5s gives me 5 rad 5. And that would be the answer. Beautiful. Easy, right? Easy. And look at, there's Benny. Little binomial Benny. There he is. Isn't he so cute? Do you see him? No? Yeah, binomial Benny, unfortunately, he's a smoker. Yep. Okay, number 3. He needs to quit. It was his resolution, but it's day 14. He had a hard time. Okay, let's do this one now. How about rad 2 minus rad 3 squared? Now, it's very tempting, even for my calculus kids, it drives me crazy, that you just go, oh, I'm just going to square the rad 2 and square the rad 3 and call it a day. You can't do that. This is a binomial, so you need to FOIL this out. You need to write rad 2 minus rad 3 times itself, like this, and then multiply. You can't just go, I'm going to square both of them. You want to, but you can't. All right, so here we go. Are you ready? Let's FOIL this one out. First, outside, inside, last. So first, what's rad 2 times rad 2?
4.
No.
2.
Rad 4, which is 2. Okay. And then outside, what's rad 2 times a negative rad 3?
Negative rad 6.
Yes, you're on fire today. Negative rad 6. And then the inside, also negative rad 6. And then my last term is a negative rad 3 times a negative rad 3.
I say plus 3.
I say plus 3 also. Plus 3. Positive.
Yeah.
2 wrongs make a right. Okay, here we go. 2 plus 3 is 5. And then if I have a negative rad 6 and another negative rad 6, how many rad 6s do we have? Negative 2 of them. Yes, and there you go. Are you loving how easy this is? It gets harder, don't worry. Yeah? Okay, let's do one more of these kind. Number 4. Number 4. All right, let's do this one. 3 rad 7 plus 5 times 2 rad 7 plus 1. Hold up. Okay, thank you. Okay, all right, would you like, this one's a little different in that we haven't had a number in front yet, so let's see what that looks like. So let's multiply this first times this first one. And we get 3 times 2 is 6. Bless you. And what's rad 7 times rad 7? 7. It's 7. So we get 6 times 7. I'm gonna fix that in just a minute. Do you see how we get 6 times 7? You have to multiply the 3 times the 2, and then you multiply the rad 7 times the rad 7. Okay, so that's just our first term. Our outside term is 3 rad 7 times 1, which is just 3 rad 7. Our inner term is 5 times 2 rad 7, which gives us 10 rad 7. And then my last term is 5 times 1 is 5. Okay, so let's combine our like terms. We know that 6 times 7 is what, 42?
Yeah.
Bless you. Oh, I mean, go home. 42 plus 5 is 47. And 3 rad 7, another 10 rad 7 gives us a total of 13 rad 7. Yay! Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that we're going to need one thing for part B coming up. We're going to need to know conjugates, not for imaginary numbers, but for radicals, okay? Conjugates for radicals. Now remember, conjugates only differ by one sign. Differ by one sign, and it's usually we just do the sign in the middle. Okay? Don't change all of it, just the middle sign changes. So for example, if I have A plus rad B, what's the conjugate of A plus rad B? Yes, A minus rad B. The just middle sign gets changed. Okay, and conjugates are going to be important when we multiply them together. You're actually going to get a real number. No, a rational number, sorry. It is real, but it's rational. Okay, if you had the square root of A minus the square root of B, what would the conjugate of that one be? Change only the middle sign. Rad A plus rad B. The radicals stay, everything stays, it's just the middle term changes. Okay, that's conjugates. So let's go ahead and multiply one and see why they're so important and what's the big deal about them. Here we go, number 5. Let's take 3 plus rad 5 and multiply it by its conjugate. So what would the conjugate of 3 plus rad 5 be? 3 minus. Perfect. 3 minus rad 5. Thank you. Yes, that's right. Okay, try it. I want you to try this one by yourself. Go ahead and multiply this out, and let's see what you get. You're going to get a nice number. Beautiful. Did you get 4?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Who got 4? You got 4 already? Wow. Okay. So 3 times 3 is 9. Now, if you notice, the inside, the oi part, the oi, inside, outside, outside, inside part, they will cancel each other out because of the conjugacy of them. I don't think that's a word, but that was kind of fun. And then you get, do you have a question? Yeah. And then you get minus rad 5 times 5 is 5. And so what happens is you get 9 minus 5, which equals 4. There you go. Yay, so many of you guys got that. That's so good. All right, let's do one more of these. and then we'll move on to the last part. There's only 2 examples in the last part, though. You're hanging on. You're doing fine. It's Monday morning. It's rainy, like really rainy. We're doing okay. All right, 5 plus rad 2, and we're going to multiply that by its conjugate. I'm sorry, rad 5 plus rad 2, and then the conjugate would be rad 5 minus rad 2. Did you want to try this one too? You're such cute little overachievers. You're already doing it. Not that your dad's old, I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. Rad 5 times rad 5 is 5. Outside gives me a negative rad 10, and the inside gives me a positive rad 10. I know those are going to be opposites because they're always going to cancel out. And then finally I get a rad 2 times a negative rad 2, which gives me negative 2. And so I end up with 5 minus 2, you get 3. Who got 3? Yes, good. A lot of you did. Nice. Okay. Here we go. Part B, last part. We are now going to divide these binomial radical expressions, okay? And in order to divide, we're really going to multiply both top and bottom of your fraction, multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. That's the bottom of the fraction. Conjugate of denominator. Just like you would, it says denominator. Just like you would if it was 2 complex numbers that you were dividing, you multiply by the conjugate of the denominator. Same idea. All right, last 2 problems. Here we go, 7 and 8. Now, these are longer. They take a while because you have to FOIL twice. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So here we go, number 7. Let's do 2 minus rad 3. We're going to divide that by 4 plus rad 3. Now, you are not allowed to just start canceling things out. People love to do that. But this is 2 minus rad 3. It's all one thing. And 4 plus rad 3 is the same thing. It would be kind of like if you said 2 plus 7 divided by 4 plus 7. And I'm like, I'm just going to make that into 2/4. You can't do that. This is 2 plus 7 is 9. 4 plus 7 is 11. Right? This is together. That's together. Now, if they were being multiplied, 2 times 7 and 4 times 7, yeah, they have the same factors you can reduce. But this is different. There's a minus and a plus. Okay, so let's go ahead and we're going to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the denominator. Okay? So, oopsie, what would the conjugate of the denominator be? Yes, perfect. 4 minus rad 3. 4 minus rad 3. Okay? What we're doing is we're just simply multiplying we're multiplying by 1. Because 4 minus rad 3 over itself is just 1. It's just we're doing this because we're not allowed to have radicals in our denominator at any time, in any answer. So let's go ahead, let's FOIL these out. Let's FOIL the numerator first. So I'm going to get 2 times 4 is 8. Outside is minus 2 rad 3. Inside is minus 4 rad 3. And then my last term would be negative rad 3 times negative rad 3 is plus 3. That's the numerator. I'm going to fix that in a minute, okay? So just leave that there for now. Now let's do the denominator. Now, with the denominator, you can do a little shortcut here because you know those are conjugates and you know the O and the I are going to cancel out. So you really just need to do 4 times 4 is 16 minus 3. Right? That's a nice shortcut, huh? And it's always going to be minus in the middle. 16 minus 3. So then we go ahead and we combine our like terms up top. So I have an 8 and a 3 make 11. I have a 2 rad 3, a negative 2 rad 3, and a negative 4 rad 3 give me negative 6 rad 3. And this is all over 13. Now, I'm perfectly fine with you leaving your answer like that. You could also split it up like this. Rad 3, that's fine too. Either answer is perfectly fine. The 11 is divided by 13, and 6 rad 3 is divided by 13. Okay? All right, we're going to do one more. Last one of the day. Number 8. I think I promised you 8 examples. And this one, it's going to have a little extra to it. Just a little bit. So let's say we have 3 plus rad 5. and we're going to divide that by 1 minus rad 5. I think this one, it's exactly the same as the last problem, but I think at the end you can reduce or something. I don't know. It says it's special. All right, so here we go. Let's multiply by the conjugate. So numerator and denominator, we're going to multiply by 1 plus rad 5. Always the conjugate of the denominator, because the denominator, that's where you're having your issues at. That's the problem. You can't have a radical down there in the denominator. All right, so here we go. We're going to FOIL the top. I know these are kind of a longer problem because you have to FOIL twice, but remember the shortcut on the bottom. All right, so we get 3 times 1 is 3. Outside gives me 3 rad 5. The inside term is rad 5 times 1, which is just rad 5. And then my last term is rad 5 times rad 5, which gives me 5. All right. In the denominator now, I'm going to go 1 times 1 is 1. Inside, outside cancel out. And then negative rad 5 times positive rad 5 gives me negative 5. Okay. In the numerator, I'm left with 8 plus 3 rad 5 plus 1 rad 5. There's no 1 there, but it's there. So you get 4 rad 5, and this is divided by negative 4. Ooh, see? We got to go one more step. So you can take these and you can divide them both by negative 4. So 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. Negative 4 divided by negative 4 is negative 1 rad 5. And you don't need to write the negative, you don't need to write the 1 right there, just write minus rad 5. And that's it. That one simplified a lot. Okay? Don't do these on your calculator.